Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another chapter of Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj's I Am That. And today brings us to chapter 12, which is another great chapter because Nisargadatta Maharaj describes his realization. And here he is. I just wanted to pay homage to my Sadguru, Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudeva. Thank you, Nisargadatta, for everything. And people definitely like to hear, I think, stories about enlightenment, liberation, realization. What is it like? What does it mean to be enlightened? How would we know that that has happened to us? So this is one version. Not all versions, of course, have to be the same or are the same. But this is Nisargadatta's story, right? It's all a story. So chapter 12, the person is not reality. Kindly tell us how you realized. Maharaj says, I met my guru when I was 34 and realized by 37. What happened? What was the change? Pleasure and pain lost their sway over me. I was free from desire and fear. I found myself full, needing nothing. I saw that in the ocean of pure awareness, on the surface of the universal consciousness, the numberless waves of the phenomenal worlds arise and subside, beginninglessly and endlessly. As consciousness, they are all me. As events, they are all mine. There is a mysterious power that looks after them. That power is awareness, self, life, God, whatever name you give it. It is the foundation, the ultimate support of all that is. Just like gold is the basis for all gold jewelry. And it is so intimately ours. Abstract the name and shape from the jewelry, and the gold becomes obvious. Be free of name and form, and of the desires and fears they create. Then what remains? Nothingness. Yes, the void remains, but the void is full to the brim. It is the eternal potential, as consciousness is the eternal actual. By potential, you mean future, past, present, and future. They are all there and infinitely more. But since the void is void, it is of little use to us. How can you say so? Without breach in continuity, how can there be rebirth? Can there be renewal without death? Even the darkness of sleep is refreshing and rejuvenating. Without death, we would have been bogged up forever in eternal senility. Is there no such thing as immortality? When life and death are seen as essential to each other, as two aspects of one being, that is immortality. To see the end in the beginning and the beginning in the end is the intimation of eternity. Definitely, immortality is not continuity. Only the process of change continues. Nothing lasts. Awareness lasts? Awareness is not of time. Time exists in consciousness only. Beyond consciousness, where are time and space? Within the field of your consciousness, there is your body also, of course. But the idea, my body, as different from other bodies, is not there. To me, it is a body, not my body. A mind, not my mind. The mind looks after the body, all right. I need not interfere. What needs be done is being done in the normal and natural way. You may not be quite conscious of your psychological functions, but when it comes to thoughts and feelings, desires and fears, you become acutely self-conscious. To me, these two are largely unconscious. I find myself talking to people or doing things quite correctly and appropriately without being very much conscious of them. It looks as if I live my physical, waking life automatically, reacting spontaneously and accurately. Does this spontaneous response come as a result of realization or by training? Both. Devotion to your goal makes you live a clean and orderly life, given to the search for truth and to helping people. And realization makes noble virtue easy and spontaneous. By removing for good the obstacles in the shape of desires and fears and wrong ideas. Don't you have desires and fears anymore? My destiny was to be born a simple man, a commoner, a humble tradesman with little of formal education. My life was the common kind, with common desires and fears. When, through my faith in my teacher and obedience to his words, I realized my true being. I left behind my human nature to look after itself until its destiny is exhausted. Occasionally, an old reaction, emotional or mental, happens in the mind, but it is at once noticed and discarded. After all, as long as one is burdened with a person, one is exposed to its idiosyncrasies and habits. Are you not afraid of death? I am dead already. In what sense? I am double dead. Not only am I dead to my body, but to my mind too. Well, you do not look dead at all. That's what you say. You seem to know my state better than I do. Sorry, but I just do not understand. You say you are bodiless and mindless, while I see you very much alive and articulate. A tremendously complex work is going on all the time in your brain and body. Are you conscious of it? Not at all. Yet for an outsider, all seems to be going on intelligently and purposefully. Why not admit that one's entire personal life may sink largely below the threshold of consciousness, and yet proceed sanely and smoothly? Is it normal? What is normal? Is your life obsessed by desires and fears, full of strife and struggle, meaningless and joyless, normal? To be acutely conscious of your body, is it normal? To be torn by feelings, tortured by thoughts, is it normal? A healthy body, a healthy mind live largely unperceived by their owner. Only occasionally, through pain or suffering, they call for attention and insight. Why not extend the same to the entire personal life? One can function rightly, responding well and fully to whatever happens without having to bring it into the focus of awareness. When self-control becomes second nature, awareness shifts its focus to deeper levels of existence and action. Don't you become a robot? What harm is there in making automatic what is habitual and repetitive? It is automatic anyhow. But when it is also chaotic, it causes pain and suffering and calls for attention. The entire purpose of a clean and well-ordered life is to liberate man from the thraldom of chaos and the burden of sorrow. You seem to be in favor of a computerized life. What is wrong with a life which is free from problems? Personality is merely a reflection of the real. Why should not the reflection be true to the original as a matter of course automatically? Need the person have any designs of its own? The life of which it is an expression will guide it. Once you realize that the person is merely a shadow of the reality, but not reality itself, you cease to fret and worry. You agree to be guided from within, and life becomes a journey into the unknown. Oh. Thank you, Nisargadatta. Thank you, Nisargadatta, for sharing your story of your realization so all of us can understand and have more clarity about what it is. What is the person and what is reality? And not what we should be doing, but what makes sense to be doing if we don't want to suffer. If we don't want to suffer, then Nisargadatta says, live a clean and orderly life. Somewhere else in this book, he talks about, it's all about suffering. Suffering and the end of suffering. Do you want to suffer? Do you want to continue to suffer? Or would you like to have an end to suffering and an end to the sufferer, the false self, the ego, the phantom? So just this paragraph one more time, because it's so good. What happened? What was the change? Pleasure and pain lost their sway over me. I was free from desire and fear. I found myself full, needing nothing. I saw that in the ocean of pure awareness, on the surface of the universal consciousness, the numberless waves of the phenomenal worlds arise and subside, beginninglessly and endlessly. As consciousness, they are all me. As events, they are all mine. There is a mysterious power that looks after them. That power is awareness, self, life, God, whatever name you give it. It is the foundation, the ultimate support of all that is. Just like gold is the basis for all gold jewelry, it is so intimately ours. Abstract the name and shape from the jewelry, and the gold becomes obvious. Be free of name and form, and of the desires and fears they create. Then, what remains? Nothingness. Yes, the void remains, but the void is full to the brim. It is the eternal potential, as consciousness is the eternal actual. The void remains, but the void is full to the brim. This is nothing appearing as everything, but that nothing is so full. It's not what the mind would conceive as being empty, like, oh, it's so empty, there's nothing here. It's an emptiness that is everything. It's full to the brim. It's universal. It's vast, vast, vast. I remember Stephen Levine saying that he was speaking to a Buddhist monk. I forget exactly who that was. And basically this monk teacher, I think he was from the Tibetan tradition, asked Stephen and Andrea, what do you do? And they said, well, we offer service to the dying. And the monk said, the only service you can really offer anyone is reinforcing their faith in their true nature. Because ultimately, the true nature, the absolute, the supreme, this is the eternal. This is where we're all headed, what we all are. And to reinforce that faith, not just the belief, but deeper and higher than that, the faith in Parabrahman, in oneness, in the absolute supreme reality. That's why it brings me so much joy to read the words of of Nisargadatta Maharaj and Paramahansa Yogananda. Because Nisargadatta Maharaj, for me, the first time I read this book, so many fears and doubts just exploded almost in joy and dissolved. Everything he says to me makes so much sense. It's so simple. It's so simple. So I wish this for all beings as we have listened and read about Nisargadatta's realization. May all beings everywhere be realized. Why not? Why not? Because everyone has the same true nature. Vast, vast, spacious awareness. The void, full to the brim. May all human beings, may all sentient beings everywhere wake up to the truth of their true nature. And may all the spiritual byproducts happen as well. May the suffering dissolve. May the love increase. May the desires and fears fall away. May all the limitations be seen as unreal ultimately. Peace and love, sending peace and love to this world and to all sentient beings everywhere. May all beings be free of suffering. May all beings be at peace. Thank you, Nisargadatta Maharaj. Thank you, everybody, for watching and listening. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you again next time for chapter 13. Bye-bye.